What's up? What's up? All right, you sat down. Welcome back, everyone, to LFA Youth Podcast. This is episode 3, part 2 for y'all. If y'all seen the first part, I guarantee y'all are ready to see this second part. We're about to have some good games, good questions for each other. Gonna have a good time, have a good laughs. Hopefully have good laughs. Probably learn more in depth about each other, what we want more in the Christian life and Bible-wise. So, is there anything you have to say, Jordan?
I'm going to go ahead and break the ice. I will probably get up about 3 times during this podcast because I am overthinking and paranoid that the same thing's going to happen, okay?
Yeah.
So don't mind me if I just walk randomly, okay?
Uh-huh.
But y'all know us, right? Do we need to introduce ourselves?
This episode will not be posted right next to part 1. It'll be the week afterwards, so it'll still be episode 3, but it's part 2. But yes, we are just talking about different questions we have that we thought of, maybe we've looked up. So we still have Esperanza, we still have Preston. We're still happy to have them here, and let's get into it. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
We'll talk about we'll ask some questions, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a question, Preston? A good one?
Yeah, that we can start off with.
Yeah, it was like a nice icebreaker.
All right, let's see.
Let
me pull up my questions here.
Y'all get ready for probably some weird questions.
All right. First off, what role does prayer play in the life of a Christian teenager?
Ooh. I would say, like, maybe not, this isn't just for teenagers, but, like, prayers for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird, I'm not saying that you asked a weird question, but to me, it's kind of like, I mean, prayer isn't just
You can make it more broad if you want to. It doesn't just have to specifically be, about it could just be prayer life in general. How does that?
It's like talking to God, prayer. You don't have to be yelling, throwing your fist around, saying all these crazy things.
You don't got to pray in KJV.
But just like praying is just like talking to God, just letting him know what's on your heart,
Yeah, I agree with that one. It is pretty good. I say a prayer is for me, it's like as a teenager, it's good for me to actually communicate to God. Like that's when I'm in my room alone. It's a good time for me to actually communicate to God. For me, if I have any problems I want to talk about, just to talk to God.
One thing about me is I don't know how to pray. I still don't know how to pray out loud, and I always pray just within myself.
I get that.
And when people say, it's like, do you want to say the blessings for the food? I say no, because I don't know how to pray out loud, because I just, like Jordan said, it's just talking to God.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I just talk to God and don't actually say things, bless him. I don't say it as how people, see it. Oh, are you going to pray for it or something like that? And people are going to automatically think it's just going to be a whole prayer that's like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And prayer doesn't have to be a whole 3 minutes long for just something simple.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that one because I've had a lot of people like family gathering because they know how in depth I am with God. But I've always been that person. I've always been iffy about like praying out loud because I always like to talk to God, like not by myself, but like I have it's like more easier for me to talk to him. Like it's just me and him talking. But in a big group prayer, I'm trying to get better with it, but I've never really been too good at it, really.
Yeah. I think my answer to this question would probably be, I guess I could rephrase the question because I'll be still answering the same question, but I guess instead of just for Christian teenagers, we could also just broaden that up to what role does prayer play in Christian life?
Yeah.
Prayer is a direct connection to God. I feel like a common misconception about prayer is that you're talking to God. And sometimes, whenever you're praying, yes, it is talking to God. But a lot of the times, it can also be talking with God. Not everybody's going to hear back all the time. But if you know how to listen for God's voice, like I've been learning how to do, especially recently, you can hear him say things back. And it's not just talking to God, it's talking with him. And so learning to be able to do that is very, very spiritually edifying and useful.
Yeah. That's pretty good, actually. So now I have a question. So, no, you're good, man.
Yeah, go ahead and check the recording. Got nothing to lose.
Okay. So, sorry about that. For my first question, it says, what book in the Bible would you want to know more about and, like, what reason, maybe?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I guess I could answer first.
Go ahead.
Okay.
My favorite book of the Bible is Ecclesiastes. It's one of the most kind of, I guess, unusual you could use to describe it, because it's not, your typical, it's not lamenting, like quite lamenting, like Lamentations level stuff, but it's also not super joyful. It's this honestly like brutally honest outlook about kind of the futility of a godless life. And it's one of the most beautiful books for me. I'd love because reading through Ecclesiastes has been so awesome. It's easily my favorite book in the Bible, but I feel like I can't get enough of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get you on that one.
Yeah. And whoever wants to go ahead now can.
I really don't have an answer to this one.
I'll say, yeah, I think I did. I put myself in a little loop. I'll say, I don't really, okay, for a why for me, I can't really say exactly what, but I think I'll say for me, it's the book of John. I'll say,
Okay.
I like the book of John, but I think, and I'll say this for me, it's almost all the books for me.
Yeah.
I want to learn more in depth about, but I think John and all the chapters of John, I think I really want to know like more in depth and like study more in depth of like the book of John.
Yeah.
I don't know many books in the Bible. I know that
No, I
how
get
many
you.
are there? 66 books? Right? 66 books?
Oh, I
And
don't remember.
somewhere around the
Yeah, I
60s.
think around the 60s. Yeah.
And I don't really know all of them, but my favorite ones is 2 Corinthians. I don't really know all of the stories or
Yeah.
all the books in it,
Yeah,
but that's one of my favorite ones.
that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
We're all growing. That's the good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all growing on that one. Do you have any questions, Jordan, or Essie?
You want to ask one?
Okay, so I searched up a question on here, and I like this question. What makes you feel closer to God?
Ooh.
I'll say my experience to feeling closer would be like what situations or like why do I feel closer to God?
Or probably, I'm gonna put it this way. What do you do that makes you feel closer to God?
So what I'll do, I'll say basically going over like our revival night we did. I think that's what really makes me feel closer to God. Like I'll say another part, like worship. I feel like I can like really open my heart more.
Yeah.
Like worship and like really put myself out there and like really like get in depth, like this, cut everything out and just like focus on Him, and feel like I'm just praise His name and like, cause I get that fire in my soul. Like when I'm really in depth with it, I get that fire in my soul and I feel like I'm hype. I'm ready to experience what God has for me. That's my answer.
Like one thing for me when I feel closer to God, or what I do, is just like when you get alone with God. Like you have to be by yourself. I mean, doing it in front of everybody is a really good, powerful thing. But when you're like alone and you just like just start talking to Him like He's right there in front of you, because He is, and that's something that works for me. It's like, because when you're alone and you like we were saying at the other part one, like how do we say it? How do I say it? Like we worship different when we're alone, which is like
Yeah. Exactly.
which is like it's not too much of a bad thing, but it's also not too much of a good thing,
Yeah, I get
But
that.
it's like over time we'll grow and we'll do that. How we do it alone, we'll do it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to get to. But like that's one thing for me, because when you're alone, it's just something different. Not saying to keep it to yourself. No, bring it out. Worship in public. But it's just when you're like alone, you're just like, God, here I am.
Yeah.
I messed up. Come do what you want me to do. And then you start serving Him, and then you start to bring it out into public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. One thing that makes me feel closer to God is, again, like William said, worshiping.
Yeah.
And Jordan had said, everybody worships different. I like to run around to worship.
Yeah.
I also like to.
Yeah, I'll say she may or may not have got done running around.
Yes. I wanted to run around to get a little bit more excited. But one thing that I do that makes me feel closer to God is just always having a conversation with Him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's just, and every single thing, driving, walking, going to school, every single thing that I do, I'm always having a conversation with God. Yeah, I only talk, it feels like I'm talking with myself, but I'm actually talking with God. I know He's not answering me right away, but He'll answer you.
In due time.
Yeah,
He's
within
always
time.
listening. That's a big thing too. He's always listening.
But that's one thing that I like to do to feel closer to God is tell Him in every single situation or any single detail that I have. Even if it's a school project, I'm over here talking to God. It's like, I hope that this project is maybe not one of the best, but one like a very no, not the worst, but a good, decent one.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. Going off like the worship, we worship in our own different ways. So going actually more in prayer wise, is it just me or am I like when I pray to God sometimes when I'm just alone really? Like I talk to Him like I'm talking to someone else. I'm like, God, man, thank you for this day, man.
I do the same thing.
I'm so happy. I talk to him like he's like my brother. Like
Yeah.
well, not brother, but like a homie, man. Like this is like I want to feel free to talk to him. Like I go in depth with it, but like I feel like I want to be like really comfortable, like just like actually talk to him.
Yeah, I usually do that when I'm like falling asleep. Like,
Don't mind if I like move over here. Just
Go where you're comfortable.
yeah, that's probably the best thing because I feel like I was like hiding behind William for like recording. So I think this is probably technologically and just sort of every.
Your cable's really long.
Yeah, it really is. You can kind of wrap it around the couch and we'll be good.
While you answer if you want to, I'm gonna go do the awkward thing.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to do it every single one. All right. So, what answer do you may have, or what did you answer?
So about what you were talking about, like, do you talk to God like you talk to? Yeah.
What makes you feel closer to
What
God?
makes-
What makes
Okay,
you feel closer
yeah.
to God?
So what makes me feel closer to God is just being in a personal, just kind of intimate moment, just alone with God. I feel like that's probably, a pretty broad answer, but what I kind of mean by that is just kind of being in my room, just closing my eyes, bowing my head and just talking to God, just kind of soaking in His presence and prayer, and that kind of stuff. That is some of the most spiritually edifying time that I get. Of course, I love being wild. I love, jumping around and worshiping and stuff. I love doing
that little wild side.
Yeah, it's all right to have a little wild side. I mean, we're Pentecostal, so that's almost bound to happen. But I think also it's really important that we kind of have our own time to, be at home and just sort of be with God, alone whenever there's nobody around, not even at church. Just kind of take time out of your own time rather than just your church time for God, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get that. So I'm going to say from all of our answers, we're all pretty close in the answer. I think we all like want that kind of like alone time that's like time. It's just our own personal time that I guess that gets us all closer to God, which is pretty good. I think that's probably a big variety of people's answers probably.
Right. I have a question now.
Okay.
If you could witness any story in the Bible, which one would it be?
I've
been waiting for the question.
If I could witness any story in the Bible.
I guess that's
That's tough.
I don't know the story really well, but I have heard it. Who is it? Well, one of the pastors were talking about it. I'm pretty sure it's Pastor Tanner who was talking about the woman who had the issue with blood.
Yeah.
And just by the touch of Jesus. And she got healed automatically.
Well, yeah, and her like not being afraid to put herself out there. Yeah.
And I think it's a series, The Chosen, where I was watching a little short, what is it called?
Yeah.
Short.
A clip.
Yeah, one of the clips, and Jesus was walking down, and the woman she was trying to chase after him, and she was trying to get her way to Jesus, and she had to move all these people. And she touched him. What was it? On the floor. She had fallen down to the floor.
I think she touched her right. The tip is
the very tip of the what is it? The robe of the robe. And he turns around and he's like, "Who just touched me?"
Yeah.
And
Who goes there?
He said, "Who just who touched me?"
You were like,
He wasn't mad about it.
No, but he said this touch is different.
Yeah.
This touch is different because he said he felt he felt faith. And everybody was just like, what's so confused? Like they were so confused about it. It's like, what do you mean?
She just
touched you. And all the people around him were confused. They're like, how did you feel that? It was your robe. It's not on you. Like it's not your part of the body where you can feel it. It was a robe, and he felt it. I love that one.
Yeah.
And that's a good story for us, because we have to get out of our comfort zone and we have to go to Him.
Yeah, even though it may be a big crowd, or a lot of people around us, just put yourself out there. thrive to go through God.
And the really special thing about that story is you have to go with him with faith.
Yeah.
I mean, you really have to believe in your
Yeah,
heart.
don't just try to reach out there because you want to reach out, but like reach out with faith and like wanting something from God.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna answer this question now.
Mhm.
I have 3 stories.
Oh,
So
gosh.
I'm gonna tell all 3, but I'm gonna pick one. Okay, so the first one, I would like to be on top of the mountain and look down into the valley where David and Goliath fought.
Yeah.
I think that'd be just a pretty good seat to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
I would want to be in the crowd. I want to be there.
It's a showdown.
And then the second one would be like when Ezekiel saw the dry bones come
Yeah.
together. That'd be
Yeah.
pretty
Mhm.
wild. And then the other one would probably be King Nebuchadnezzar when he threw
Yeah.
the 3 kids in the fire. And I think that's probably the one. And the reason why is because of the crowd. You know,
Yeah.
because there wasn't just 300 people. There was thousands of people.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I think, and seeing that in front of everybody, I mean, like, you know how it's like in New York, Times Square on New Year's Eve. It's
Yeah.
it was probably like a crowd like that, but
Yeah.
for
Absolutely massive.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of celebrating New Year's, they're celebrating.
A false idol.
Yeah. What?
What?
Something just came off.
Oh no.
It's,
You didn't spill it, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're good.
So I think
Crisis averted.
So I think for me, there's like 2 big ones. Is David and Goliath, but I would want to be like right like technically in the front row. Like I would love to see that. Like just like we said before, he's a small guy against like Goliath. It's like it's crazy, and just to see that miracle happen with just one stone, slingshot right in between the eyes, and another one too is when they split the Red Sea. Oh my gosh, like that I feel like my heart would like melt, like, oh my gosh, like, wow, this is like actually happening.
Incredible, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that's my 2 main ones. I wish I was actually be able to be there and actually
Yeah.
see.
what about you, Preston?
I think for me, the Bible story that I would kind of like to be there to see the most is whenever Jonah was going up to Nineveh. I can't believe it took me that long to remember. I literally did a sermon about
I
this.
have not heard that story in a while, actually.
Yeah, but basically not like whenever he was swallowed by the whale or anything. Of course, I would love to see the part where, it went from a raging storm to immediately like a calm and sunny day within the span of like 4 milliseconds. But what I'd love to see is just how Jonah preached this extremely simple sermon to the Ninevites, and immediately the entire place was just in shambles in a sense, and they were convicted and they knew that they did wrong. So I'm forgetting all the details here, sort of paraphrasing, but I would love to see whenever he just did that simple sermon and then all of Nineveh was like just completely and utterly like changed. And then, a little off track, but it's funny how after he was used by God to do something so incredible, right afterwards, he was like, you know what, God, I don't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
You know
Goes
what I
in the
mean?
ocean.
Like, bro,
Doesn't
just
wanna
like,
escape.
Bro.
He said, bro.
bro was just used by God to do something so incredible. And he was like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more.
Just fell out of your chair, Preston.
Oh my gosh. My
I
man's
mean, we
getting
said we
dead.
wanted to laugh more on this one.
Okay, man. But yeah, I think I'll say, what do you value most in your Christianity life?
Ooh.
Like, what do you think I think you're not your most favorite thing as a Christian, but like, what do you like? You're probably most excited about. What makes you thrive? Like, like to keep going, and like, what are you like ready to do again?
Like, I would say being in like that service, what I mean by that, I'm like articulating that word, that service,
Yeah.
when like,
That one, yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you mean, it's that
Yeah.
one,
That
yeah.
one. Like when like you go
Stuff is
overtime.
going down.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's like they're still playing music, we're still worshiping after like you go through the time where you're supposed to be preaching, but you're still
Yeah.
leading the Holy Spirit.
One of those.
One of those. Yeah,
Exactly.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Preston.
Yes.
Like, like at church camp. That's
Yeah.
a big
No,
example.
those are awesome every
Hey man,
time.
my man just took my answer. I was like, basically, yeah, like for me, it's the same. Like, it's like that Pacific service. Like, I was like, kind of like our revival nights when it's like all like fired up and like you get so much out of it.
Yeah,
Like,
that
you
service.
get revealed. Like, man, like wow, like I can't wait to do this again. Like, I can't wait to do more. But yeah, like I said, that's like one that
Yeah.
I value a lot in my Christianity life.
I'm just gonna take it as what is my favorite part as of being a Christian,
Yeah.
because I don't know any like values. One thing that I like to well, obviously I like to do as a Christian. I don't know why I said it like that, but I like to make little cards and pass them around. I love to do that.
ministry, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, the Who
Yeah.
Cares ministry. That's what I like to do.
Little
But-
card
Make
ministry.
little cards.
Yes, and on these little cards is just showing like Bible verses, and I like to pass them around to people. And whenever I give it to them, they're like, "What is this?" And they're looking at it and just like, "I love this,"
Yeah.
and it honestly makes me very happy because I'm doing two things that I like to do is drawing and then it's basically one way of spreading the gospel because
Yeah.
That's a really
it
good
is
answer right there,
it
yeah.
is kind of difficult for me to spread the gospel to what is it called, to like people out that I don't know in public. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just put it that
And
way.
that is still a good way to spread the gospel. Actually, that is actually really good. Actually, I like
It's
that.
more because I'm a shy speaker and I just can't go up to somebody. It's like, hey, and get all what's it called? I think it
Butterflies?
not butterflies are
Oh,
just
you get nervous. Like you get butterflies. You nervous.
yes. Okay, I'm gonna put it.
Well, butterfly can be put in a couple different ways.
Yeah, I thought like butterflies just meant for like people that you're in love with or something.
Well, no, I've heard but people like, I get butterfly. I'm like nervous.
Kind of
Like,
feeling
before you go-
queasy.
Yeah.
Like kind of like.
Okay,
I don't know how I would
my
describe that.
explanations suck, man. Leave me alone.
But that's one way for me to spread the gospel without actually having to say a whole thing. It's like, hey, do you know who Jesus is? And then they will say, like, no, get away from me. What am I supposed to do in that situation? I'm gonna just get
My card. Take it now.
And there may
Be
money
saved
there.
in the name of Jesus.
I'm gonna just give them my card. It's like, okay, here you go. Jesus loves you, and I'm gonna run off.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Throw it at them.
So that's
Just chunk it.
Just take it.
but that's I like to spread the gospel in that way.
Yeah.
And also to draw because my little
Yeah.
cards have a lot of drawings on them.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, you keep going.
Something that I do want to do is if people want to reject me, I just want to leave the cards. Like I'm gonna say I'm gonna go to Whataburger. I want to spread the gospel, but these group of people don't want to speak to me. I'm gonna just leave it on the side of the table and leave.
Yeah.
You want to reject this, man? Just take it anyway.
You don't want my card? You're getting one.
Be blessed.
Yes.
I have a question. So,
Okay.
what is your favorite parable or like story that Jesus told?
That's tough. He gave so many good ones and so many that I'm like, Lord, I gotta pray for understanding because I don't know what you meant by this.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I know one of y'all are probably gonna say it, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer.
Okay,
I
yeah.
have is a big one. It has a big crowd in it.
It's the prodigal son. I think that one's a good one, because like he told the story of a father and his two sons, right?
Yeah.
And one of the sons, just to say it like in a quick way, ran away, and then he went and he lived his own life, and then he got so like I was saying last week, I don't want to say it again, but but he had so much of this world that like we were saying in the podcast, worldly love will take advantage of you, and that's what happened to him, and he got taken advantage of, and he lost everything,
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
drive you away from what you truly are.
and it got so bad for him that he was eating pig food, like
Yeah.
slop out of like a pig bucket or whatever.
Dang, man,
Yeah,
that
that one.
question really. I don't know.
I think I might have an answer to it.
I don't know if I will. have an answer. I don't know if I will.
So I think mine is probably about the servants, right? They had I think it was like bags of gold or something.
Yeah.
One of
Okay.
them
Yeah.
invested some. One of them hid some. I'm forgetting the exact details, but it was a really, really kind of
Yeah.
eye-opening parable for me, and was one of the first ones that I truly kind of sat down and understood, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. A lot of the parables, I'm sitting there like, what on earth does that mean? But then I'm like reading through that one, I'm hearing about that one, and it's like, okay, that makes so much more sense. If you're investing, if God gives you something, why would you hide that light?
Yeah.
Why would you hide that? You want to invest that so that it will come in return to you. And if that makes any sense, you'll be blessed if you invest what he's given to you for his purpose. He'll bless you.
That's one thing about a lot of parables. Like, so definitely that one. Basically, it's hard to actually just read it and like understand it, but you have to like take it and read it and think of it as like real life scenarios. That taking those like 3 bags of gold, the bag of gold for each person, and what they did to it, and like basically taking it into like thought of like real life things you do. Like, do you keep it to yourself and hide it away and like wait till way later, or do you show it and like use it for good wise? I think that's a pretty good one. I'm gonna kind of linger off your answer and say that was mine too.
I don't really have an answer because I just don't know much about it.
Oh, you're good.
But I did find another question on here.
Okay.
It was, what is your favorite miracle that God has given to you, or showed you?
Yeah. I guess I could start here. Okay. I think being saved is everyone's personal miracle. That transformation of your mind and of your heart, that's everybody's personal miracle. And I feel just that gift of salvation in and of itself is, I'm not sure if rescue story would be the correct term, but it's my miracle. It's my personal miracle that God sent his only son to die for someone like me who can barely even get my name straight sometimes. I mess up constantly. I'm a human. But the fact that he would send his own son to die for me so that I wouldn't have to go through that, that in and of itself is my personal miracle, is the fact that he did that for me. And also the miracle of repentance, the fact that I've been able to be restored by his love and by his teachings and stuff. If that makes any sense. I'm not sure if I really worded that correctly or not.
So when you asked like your personal miracle, would you mean like testimonies also too, or like?
Honestly, I don't even know. I just seen that. What is your favorite miracle? So I believe is part of your testimony.
Yeah, I'll say for my favorite miracle is like testimony will be. We said this a lot in our youth. If you have been here or not, but I'll say is my walker, which we have now, is basically because I had I had spine surgery.
Yeah.
And had put a titanium like cage like disc in my spine now, and they had like a lot of blood leak, and they had to use radiation and damage nerves in my leg, and they gave me probably like maybe like a year, probably a little over a year to my fully heal, and it was real bad. Like I couldn't stand it. It was at the slightest touch, and like wind hurt it bad, and one day I just wanted to come to youth, and I came on my walker like going in so slow, and we're having service, and I just felt like I wanted to get up, and Pastor Tanner, our pastor, he gathered everyone around. They prayed for me, and I don't know. I just really felt in my heart like I said, God, I believe you can heal me. And I know you can heal me. And I know you can do miracles for me. And like probably like a couple of seconds later, I started feeling my leg feel like a little better, a little normal.
Yeah.
And I just started like tearing up. I felt like a warm sensation all over my body. And he told me to get up, man. I got up with no problem.
That's incredible, dude.
I came in that place on a walker. I came out carrying that walker.
Ooh.
And dude, that's a testimony that I'm so happy that I'm not talking about, and I would never be like, I don't know why I don't want to talk about it, but I'm always happy to tell about that testimony.
Yeah.
It's a miracle in itself, really.
Yeah.
Another thing that Preston had said, he said that being saved is everybody's favorite miracle, and I do agree with that because I'm here thinking, how many miracles have happened in my life? There has been multiple miracles, and I will say that my favorite is getting saved because I had went through so much to be able to even get to know who Jesus actually was, and it was a struggle for me. It took me 17 years of my life to actually know who he was, for me to actually get saved.
Yeah.
And whenever I got saved, I was in a room on the floor, never been to a church, and I got saved. And another miracle that had popped into my mind is my little sister who was born without, can never pronounce this word, esophagus. Yeah, esophagus.
Yeah.
Okay. She was born without one, and they were thinking that she was not going to be able to make it at all. And they had rushed her to Houston. She was born in Lufkin and had to rush her to Houston. And she was in, where do they keep?
NICU? NICU?
Yes, that thing. It was
ICU?
somewhere around.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
she was kept in there for 5 months of her life,
Oh, man.
and she was she was struggling. She was fighting so hard with her
Yeah.
life as a newborn baby.
Mm-hmm.
She
Sad.
And I
managed.
guarantee that was probably hard, and you and your parents saw that too. Man.
Yes, and everybody was thinking that she wasn't gonna be able to make it because she was unable to eat. She was never able to eat at all. But guess what? She's 10 years old now.
Amen.
Ooh,
Right there.
love that.
Amen.
Amen.
That's a miracle right there.
For me, I guess it'd be like Preston said. I mean, I never. Not saying that like God has done nothing for me, but I haven't had a miracle like you've had, William. I mean, I haven't broke my back and
Yeah.
seen that. But I mean, that's
Maybe break your back and test it out.
that would be a different
I
type of
highly
faith.
suggest it. It's not a good feeling.
But I mean, just being able to like seeing God take bad things and then making it a whole new pathway. I mean, that's what happened to me at one certain point in my life. And just being able to receive salvation after you keep messing up, after you just keep giving up, after you keep failing.
Yeah.
Just being able to go back to God and him not being mad at you. And that's I think that's a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have a question too. It's a would you rather question. So,
Okay.
Okay.
would you rather sit at the feet of Jesus while he teaches, or prepare supper for Jesus and the disciples in the kitchen?
Probably sit at the feet and listen to
Yeah.
it.
I would have to say
Teach.
the same, to be honest. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I feel like there's pros and cons to both of those. I mean, not a lot of cons to either, but the only con is that you don't get to do the other one if you choose one of them. So
Well, I say if you don't know how to cook or something, you don't want.
yeah, you don't want to food poison Jesus, because believe me, he can do the same thing. If you food poison Jesus, it ain't going in too well for you. I mean, he's graceful, he's merciful, but
Yeah.
I don't think this is the exact reason I'm not Jesus. If I was Jesus and somebody food poisoned me, I ain't gonna want to do too many miracles for them.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's a simple little answer. I'll say definitely. I'd rather like sit at the feet and like him like what Tanner does for actually have like a Wednesday service or like to be honest, a whole week to sit at the feet and just listen to him talk.
Yeah.
I feel it'll be like so good, it'd be so different because it would be because it's Jesus.
Yeah.
So
I would choose to be at his feet as well because honestly, what type of I only know the current present cooking, on the stove, and I don't know.
Bread.
I-
crackers.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
What
no,
are you
the
supposed to
fish
give
and
to
bread, the
Jesus?
fish and bread.
Crackers and wine.
Well,
Hey, Jesus, can you help me? I don't have enough. Can you maybe? I heard you did something. Can you make some more?
Bro, I'm running out of ramen. Can you please, do what you did with that like fish? A
Bro,
couple
yeah, I
thousand
feel like
years
a lot
ago.
of people do wrong.
what are you supposed to do? Make a little fire, put the fish on a stick, and just like go over it like that.
Come on, man. Can you clone my Wingstop? I want more, bro.
Get-
There's Wingstop.
Yeah.
just bring
Jeez,
Wingstop
man.
to the table.
Yeah,
But-
whenever we said we wanted to laugh more, I think we've accomplished that.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely, if there's Wingstop, I'm changing my
Yeah,
decision.
no.
You're changing your decision.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to him.
I mean,
wanna
like,
eat
think
Wingstop.
about it. You get to eat Wingstop with Jesus. I mean,
Bro, that
when you
would
run out
be
of
the
ranch,
best
you
day
can just make
ever.
more ranch.
That's 2 podcasts in a row that we've talked about Wingstop.
Yeah, we're not gonna stop talking about Wingstop.
Yeah. Wingstop? No, Wingo.
Wingo.
I'm so
That's
funny.
a little close.
Wendigo.
No.
Oh no no no
Oh,
no
no.
no.
All right.
We hunt them.
Yeah.
What? Wait, what?
What?
Hey, wait. We hunt
Wait,
what?
what? We're talking about deer, right?
Wait, what?
Okay, anyway, I got another
No.
question.
What deer are we talking about?
Okay, I'll ask another question.
Okay.
Now I lost the question.
Talking about deer.
You want me to pull one up?
I say I
Yeah,
got
go
another one
ahead.
if you don't need
It'll come back to me.
I'll pull-
Okay, I got it now.
Oh, okay.
What was your favorite sermon ever preached, like in our youth group?
Oh.
It's not the youth group, but it was my very first time. It was the very first time that I had ever came to church. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say the date because I remember my dates. February 12th, 2023. It was my very first time coming to church, and Pastor Chris was preaching about the ants. The ants were how they always work, and they're always working
Oh.
Yeah.
So they can survive for winter.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They work all year long, and they can survive for winter. And just how the ants are working, it's how we need to be working as well. And we need to be working for us it will be all of our life until Jesus returns.
Yeah.
And for the ants, they have worked all year long for winter. The winter for us would be Jesus returning.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have to work.
Preparing.
We
You gotta prepare for that,
we
yeah.
have to work all our entire life worshiping Jesus until he returns.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Wow.
Yeah.
For me, if we're gonna say in our church, I would definitely say, what can I say? In our youth group, I would probably say the first sermon that Tanner ever preached. I can still remember that. And when I tell you, if I tell you what it is, you'll be like, okay, I see why you remember that. It was called Giant Slayer.
Yeah.
It was. You can assume it was about David and Goliath. And I still have my notes from it.
I gotta make you a shirt about that, man.
Yeah, I love that story.
I know what to get you for your birthday.
It just speaks so much to me.
Yeah.
It's just the fact. I'm gonna say it again, I guess. The fact that he used a pebble, for something so big but something so small.
Yeah. Actually, I'll say, I think because something so small, like we said, but I think we said in the last podcast too. Something small as little, something it can take just a small amount of faith. It don't have to be something big, like a little bitty pebble. That's a small faith, and use it as something like a big situation you're dealing with. But you just need a little bit of faith to take down that situation.
Yeah.
Yours is probably the sermon that you preached. Me and you preached. That was my favorite sermon.
Really?
Nah, well, not my favorite, but
I think you said Tanner's first one was your favorite.
I'm just joking around. Like
I think
Tanner.
my favorite sermon that I've heard been preached, I believe, was actually when Brother Borden, he was talking. It was before Hallelujah Harvest, and he brought up the verse in the Message translation about harvest hands. For some reason, that entire message just got me really hyped up and excited. I was like, I was already gonna volunteer for Hallelujah Harvest, but I was, that just got me hyped up. I was excited to be at Hallelujah Harvest. I was excited to help out, kind of just serve the community, because to me, I feel like that was some of the most like spiritually edifying sort of stuff that I've done, is you just helping out around the church and just kind of doing what I could to make things easier for certain people. And I worked at the like coffee stand a little bit and like the hot chocolate stand, and I wasn't perfect at it by any means, but they did appreciate the help, and being able to do that did make me, it felt really good. I was able to bless them like that.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, I think I was more toward. I don't remember if it was in kids service when I was little, but we were talking about like growing as a Christian, like how much you can stay into it. It's basically we're just talking about like what things we can do, what we need to stay, we keep doing, like what stuff to avoid and all that, and just like I guess it really helped me when I was little to realize like, man, there's a lot of things I do need to stay away from and stuff I don't need to do and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just really good for me like that. I just have like as a young kid to really have that installed into me as very young, to really say like, this is what I need to focus on with God.
Yeah.
So anybody else have another
I
question?
probably have another one.
What did you say at first?
Huh?
Like, what was the question?
Oh, it was, what was your favorite sermon?
Oh, I already said
Yeah,
it.
you already
You said
answered.
yours.
You're the first one.
I was trying to remember if I had already said one and we're listening.
So just in case,
listening.
like just to mention it, just in case, do you want to check your phone to see if we're still recording?
I'm scared now.
Yeah.
I'll go check. So
Okay.
Yeah,
finding another
probably a good
question.
idea.
When you're on your way back, I have another one.
Okay. How long has it been recording?
I honestly
Okay.
forgot that I already went.
How long has it
I was
been?
that excited to
30
say
minutes.
my favorite sermon.
Okay.
I'm here listening to everybody, and
Yeah.
I'm here thinking.
What?
I'm over here
Okay.
thinking that I haven't went yet. I was like, oh, what am I gonna say?
Yeah, I
I
get
had
that.
already forgot that I went.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so here's one for me. Would you rather name all the animals or build the ark with all of animals?
It's kind of tough because they're both really time consuming.
Yeah, they're both
If
tedious.
you think about it, building the ark was, how long did it take him?
70 years.
Say, yeah,
Wow.
I feel like it would take him like a day to name all the animals.
Yeah.
But like
How many years
70
building
years?
the ark, though? I
That's a
mean,
lot of
then again, you gotta like name
Well, I mean-
every species on Earth.
I
It's like,
don't know if it's some. I think there's some creatures that are man named. Like nowadays, there's a lot of weird named creatures probably. But I think there's some creatures like just by look, I wouldn't want to name them differently. I
yeah.
don't know.
Who named a platypus?
What even is a platypus?
It's a duck. It's a duck.
I know
and
what
a
it is,
beaver.
but like, what is that thing?
It's a mammal that lays eggs actually. It's a mammal that.
And it doesn't even have a stomach either.
They're completely flat and everything, and it's like, who names a platypus? And why is it a beaver mixed with the duck? I would rather name all the animals than
would
build
too.
ark.
Does the Bible say how many animals was on the ark? I feel like
It's just that
for some
a
reason,
male and a female of every kind.
A
is all-
pair
yeah.
of each animal.
because I mean, think about it. Most of the animals we have today are just like breeds of animals back then.
Yeah.
Like dogs. They didn't
Uh-huh.
have dogs back then. It was probably like a wolf or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And like
But,
same thing with a platypus. That thing wasn't exist back then. Yeah, he probably had a beaver and a duck. And so like
Why is this funny?
I don't know.
Oh
Like,
my gosh!
here.
But that's what a platypus looks like. It's like it has like a duck head. It lays eggs, but it's a mammal. And it has beaver tail. That's weird. Also, I would rather name the animals because one, I wouldn't trust myself building the ark. Freaking out.
Bro, if I built the ark, oh, go ahead.
Midway building the ark when we're on the water, start feeling like, why is there water, man? I couldn't trust myself.
I built I built the whole ark after 70 years. I'm like, all right, God, I built the ark you promised. And he just looks down. And he's like,
Man.
that looks like a beaver dam. What kind of ark is that?
The boat
No, trust
starts
me, it'll work.
to
Gets on the water. Why do I hear loud cracking sounds in the wood?
Man, yeah, midway, man. You just see the water, man. I want to tell everyone, man, I hope y'all know how to swim.
What animals can all the animals swim? Or is some animals just can't? Wait, were there insects? Were there insects on the boat? I'm curious. Like, there's so many
How would
insects.
he get like an ant on the boat?
Yeah. He just has a huge cage for 2 ants.
The woman will just crawl out with the boat.
But yeah, gotta think about this. How like the ark had to be big, like fit 2 of every
It's like
animal.
400 feet wide.
My
It's
word.
crazy, man. Oh.
And then the fact that it took him 70 years to build it too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Dude, I'll be too tired. And plus, let's say people lived a lot longer than we did.
Yeah.
now.
Didn't people live to like an average of 500 back
500
then?
years. Having
Yeah, like, cause
being 200 and you have a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
oh. But yeah, so anyone have any more questions, or do I need to find another one?
I guess I have one. Like, what's the most like thing, like the mind blowing thing about like God or heaven?
Like,
Like-
what he's done, or like about
Like just like
heaven?
just
About
about
him?
just about him. Like for me, like I can't wrap my mind about it that God was just there.
No, that's
Yeah.
my exact answer to that question. The fact that he's just always been. It's such a
yes.
it's
Oh my
an
gosh.
infinite concept, and our brains are finite, so we can't really fully
Understand.
comprehend
Yeah.
those kind of things. And since, as I said last podcast, God's nature is divine, we can't understand divinity because we're not divine.
Yeah.
And I think one for me, because I've heard a testimony about it. This lady had passed away, but came back to life.
Yeah, she's seen, like, she had
Yeah.
a glimpse of heaven.
And she
Resurrected,
shot
yeah.
herself in the heart with her nail gun. It was our kids' pastor's mom.
Yeah, I seen that. I think she said like flowers or something. She's seen like
Yeah, and she said she saw flowers and colors that
that
didn't
they're
exist
not
here.
real.
that's something that
It
blows
it's like-
me.
It's like you try to think of those colors, but you like, man, like, but it's just not something you can't. It's like something you can't think of.
Yeah.
But like another thing for me is like, we're gonna be living forever.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like
that's
oh my
something
Eternity.
gosh, like there's
Our life on Earth is
yeah,
only
on
temporary.
our life on Earth, we think we're gonna have a long life, but you gotta think about it
Well,
depends on how
we
you
get
live.
we get 100
Depends
years
on- yeah.
max on
Yeah, 100
Earth.
years max. But hopefully God comes back soon, please.
Whoa,
I'm ready, man.
whoa.
Yeah, these-
we gotta save everybody first before
Yeah,
we
that's
can
exactly.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Every time I think about it, I get like probably about 5 minutes. I'm like, what the heck, man? Like, there's so many things I'm glad to do. Like, there's so many family I want to see because I have a little sister. I have an older sister that none of us got to see. I want to see so bad because she was like 6 months old when she passed, and I want to see her. But there's always get my mind like wrapped around. It's like we're gonna be forever, never ending. That's the crazy thing. It's just like, oh my gosh.
You're right. It's happening right now. You're being flabbergasted.
I know. Like you can't explain it.
Yeah.
One thing for me is the animals. There's predators and preys. Like a tiger and
A lamb.
a lamb.
Although the lion and the lamb.
And
A lion laying with the lamb.
the fact that they're together, and then I could be up there cuddling with a whole lion. I'm just over here. They're cute, and I'm just over there petting its mane and everything, and it won't eat me. It won't eat me at all.
Well, those are priorities right there. I got respect for that.
Yeah, but that thing is like God just being there. Trips me out so bad.
Permanent connection to God.
And it's the thing that gets me even more is saying that he created heaven.
Yeah.
So was it like, was he just, where was he before heaven?
Yeah,
or,
that's such a
or was
crazy
he just
thing to
like,
think about.
or was he just there with heaven?
Well, interesting
like,
thing.
But-
like what made him like create us? Like yeah, I know. Like
We're getting really existential here.
Well, I actually heard a
it's just
sermon
questions
about
I
that.
want to ask God though. That's
Yeah. Well, hey, whenever we get to heaven, we can ask him, how on earth is that possible?
Well, it's because, from what I know, that he created the angels because he had so much to give. He has so much love. And when he offered it to the angels, some rebuked with Lucifer because he saw God's power and God didn't give him what he wanted.
He wanted that.
And so when he overtook it, he casted him out of heaven.
He took angels with him because there was angels with him that.
Yeah.
But here's another question I think you would like. So, would you rather have to fight the giant Goliath or fight in the war against the Philistines?
I'd probably fight the giant.
Yeah.
I have a guaranteed survival rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Philistines, you're not so sure.
Yeah, I think I would say the Goliath too.
I'd say the same thing.
Yeah. That's problem.
I would fight the giant as well.
Okay.
Well, I'm very petite and just how tall was he? 9 feet.
Something about
Somewhere around
cubits or something. I think.
It was like 9 feet.
9 feet tall.
Did you say 6 at first? You think I'm Goliath?
My house is 9 feet tall, so I'm over here.
Buff too.
Yeah, my ceilings are 9 feet tall as well. So it's like.
How tall is this room?
Probably around close.
9 feet?
I'm 6 feet tall and.
Bro, Goliath was tall, bro.
We're just staring at the ceiling.
This is the most interesting podcast of all time.
Well, yeah, we're trying to have a good time here.
Yeah.
Y'all have any? Am I the only one who has questions?
I mean, I could probably find one.
If y'all, it's okay. I'm just wondering. I don't want to be asking all of them. If y'all have one.
I've been just thinking on top of my head.
I can get one. Let me see.
So wait,
We're all looking for questions right
know,
now.
'cause- well, I have one. Okay, here's another one. Would you rather be baptized by John the Baptist or hear Paul speak to the crowd about Jesus?
Ooh.
I want to be baptized.
I think.
I want to
That's a
I want
tough
to
one.
experience
I want
that.
to hear Paul speak about Jesus.
I think same.
Yeah.
He'll just write you a letter.
Yeah.
Going
To the believer in Livingston, Texas.
It's not- it wouldn't even be a good
greatly
letter.
thank you for your.
No, but you gotta realize because every time Paul wrote a letter, it was not.
It was like,
He didn't write. When he usually wrote a letter, it wasn't good.
yeah, it was
was
about
It was
bad.
you sinners.
He wrote a letter for a reason, and it wasn't for a good reason.
Yeah.
I think I would want to hear Paul speak.
Yeah. Mm.
All right. All right. I have a question. What is a common misconception about following Jesus that you think you could address and explain? Let me phrase that a little better because that was a little awkward.
I understood you.
What is a misconception that people have about following Jesus? So about like faith, etc. And how can we address that?
I know
Okay.
a lot of people think being a Christian, like following God, you have to like you have to be perfect. That you cannot make no mistakes. A lot of people think being a Christian, you cannot make a mistake. Like you have to be this perfect someone. No, we are gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
But we are not perfect. We're not gonna be a perfect somebody. Like that's the thing. We go out and try to help other people, but yeah, we still have our struggles. We still have those things that we struggle with. But yeah, we thrive to be as good as we can. But we're not gonna be perfect, and we can't be perfect because only Jesus was. But yeah, that's a lot of things. I hear a lot of people misconcept that. Yeah, we may make this little mistake, and people will drive that. Like they will get on to a Christian, and they say, "Oh my gosh, you're a Christian. You made this mistake. How dare you?" But yeah, that's for me. That's what that is.
I think one thing for me is that, I mean, we're not here to be offended by sinners, right?
Yeah.
And I think one thing that gets to me is when like somebody says like a cuss word in front of you, and they're like, and they get so apologetic, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna get.
It's all right,
offended.
bro. We make
I
mistakes.
know.
It's
Like,
fine.
here.
Yeah.
And I just think I
I don't suggest you do it, but like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, just,
Like, bro, if you're, if you're gonna say something and you immediately apologize to me, that shows that you didn't mean to, you didn't have the full intention to
but if you
do
do
that.
try,
But like, if you make a mistake, that's all right. We just,
but if you do try to say sorry, but don't do it right afterwards. You say
yeah,
sorry.
exactly.
Don't be a person who says
be
sorry.
genuinely
but also do it again.
repentful. Repentful, is that even a word?
repentful. Maybe I think.
Repent. What would be the term for that? Repentful. In repentance.
I don't know.
Being repentant sounds a lot better than be repentful.
Yeah, that's what I think for me is like a lot of people think being a Christian you have to be perfect. You can't make no mistakes.
I think it's like, so right now at my school in English class, we're reading a book called The Crucible. It's about the Salem witch trials. I don't know if y'all know about that.
I think that sounds familiar.
But it's about like the Puritans, and they were so strict on their religion that like if you told a lie, you were dealing with the devil. And so when you did something sinful, it could be like not saying that some sins are small, some sins are big. I mean, some they are in our eyes, but it's still sin.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, if I go in public and I just punch somebody in the face, that's pretty wrong, right?
Yeah.
If you did something, well, okay. Let me use a smaller example. If you,
Well, why are we punching people?
I'll just use a lie. If you lie, they're gonna like hang you for witchcraft.
Yeah.
Which I mean, well, actually, we did learn about that in one of our sermons, because lying is manipulation,
Yeah.
and manipulating is a form of witchcraft.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, what I'm trying to say is that, like, one mistake, they would hang you because of how strict they were on believing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what people still think that's what it is, but it's not, because Jesus died on the cross for us.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about, well, we have to watch ourselves, but we don't have to worry about getting struck by lightning
Yeah.
by any moment, because Jesus did the ultimate sacrifice. And and I feel like people, like, you think they look at you like you're missing out, but you're not. You have a promise now when you're saved.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I think people look at you as, is like so religious, and it's not just about that. I mean, there's so much more to Jesus than
just being in a religion. Yeah.
and I think that's what people like think about.
It's like that one Phil Wickham song. You didn't ask for religion. You wanted a relationship with me. We're gonna get copyrighted. So maybe I should.
Let's keep it a little short ones. But y'all have any more questions?
Well, I was gonna say mine, but
Go
one thing. Huh? All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is how people don't want to leave the world because they're so into living for the world, and all of a sudden they see how you are, and like how you said, is like they think, oh, you have to be perfect, you can't commit any sins or anything like that, and people don't want to leave that. They think, oh, if I change my entire life to give my life to Christ, they're gonna think, oh, my entire life I'm just be sad and I'm gonna be different, I won't be able to do anything that I want to do anymore. You can still have fun as being a Christian. You're happier as a Christian.
Yeah.
You are happier.
You have more fulfillment.
Yes. And living for the world, you get to do stuff because you're sinning out there. You're just living for the world, not living for Christ, and you commit so much stuff, and you commit so much stuff, and you don't want to leave it because you get attached to those things. Yeah. And the moment that you know that what you were doing was wrong, you don't want to leave any of that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't want to leave this because I want to continue doing it. Well, the only reason you're continuing it is because you're so attached to it. You revolve your entire life around it when you're supposed to be revolving your life around Christ.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have something to say about that. So there was a sermon. It was during So we have to remember we have Encounter Week at our church. It's like around August. We have that 1 week where there's service every day. And I remember last year, I think it was last year, we had Pastor Robbie Mitchell. I think that's his name. And he said something that really I still remember today. It was, and it kind of has something to what you said. He said, people choose heaven over everything, right? Like, oh, I'm going to, I think I'm saying it right. Yeah. But he says, when I die, I want to go to heaven. But the thing is, they don't want to let go of the world.
Yeah.
But who's going to choose like the earthly things over heaven?
Like, are you saying like if I I want to go to heaven, but like I'm still wanting to do some of these other things that are not really Christian things, but I still want to do these earthly things, but I want to go to heaven.
It's like everybody wants to go to heaven, but we don't want to let go of but how many people, like including us before we were saved, who's going to choose earth over heaven?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people. And, to get rid of that, you just have to humble yourself. And like we always talk about here, like you have to get ruined. God has to ruin you. Get rid of your ways and all that.
Yeah.
So, y'all want to probably start ending it?
Yeah, we'll end it right here.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're good.
We are happy to have y'all back, guys, and we are going to end this podcast right here. The next time we will see y'all, we will be into the next season of our thing. It will be March Madness.
Yeah.
And we cannot wait to let y'all know and teach y'all more about what we learned from it.
Yeah.
And we are ready to see y'all again. This is episode 3, part 2 of our podcast. We are so happy to have y'all here. Like and subscribe if y'all can. And we'll see y'all next time.
Yep.
See y'all.
Bye-bye. Please say it's recorded.